African Police Service are struggling to close cases due to a lack of leads. Now, this was the response by police to a question asked by the DA in Parliament. The police service says over 5 million dockets were unresolved in the past 5 financial years. Willem Els, who's a crime expert with the Institute for Security Studies, joins me now for a further discussion on this issue. Mr. Els, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Firstly, tell us, what are the main issues within the South African Police Service which are contributing to the closure of over 5 million case dockets without results?
Good afternoon, Chandler. Yeah, this is a problem that's been building up over many years. If we look at the police management, ever since they started to appoint, or they appointed the first non-police officer as a National Commissioner of Police, they started to bring in managers within the police that had to manage the police, that had to provide guidance to these police officers on the ground from the side with no policing experience, etc., etc. Everything just went south from there. Till we get to this point now where the law and order pillar, that is that one pillar that actually managed to keep up a functioning state. If the law and order pillar collapses or crumbles, then your functioning states also start to crumble. And we see that has started to crumble severely and with an extremely fast year in South Africa, just because of various factors. One of them is a lack of capacity. Secondly, there's a lack of expertise and also a lack of political leadership in order to resolve these problems.
Let's get into that. I mean, how do resource constraints, a lack of enthusiasm, if you will, and also a pressure for visible police, how does this affect the closure of case dockets without leads? And what strategies could address these issues?
Yeah, for a number of months now, it's been discussed that they mention numbers of a shortage of up to 8,000 detectives. We estimate that it must be way more based on just on the crime statistics. If you are a detective and you are being issued with one new case every day, that means that you will receive 30 new cases every month. But we understand that at some of the police stations, some of these young detectives are carrying up to 200 case files or dockets per month that they have to investigate, they have to administer, they have to then hand it up to their commanders to sign it off, further investigate, and they have to prepare it for court. At the end of the day, if you do not have a fully investigated and well-prepared case docket, you cannot hand it to the NPA, and the NPA can't take it to court.
So how can leadership reforms within the SAPS, as proposed by, amongst others, the DA, how can this address the daily closure of these nearly 3,000 cases without justice? But also, how will it restore public trust in law enforcement if this is done?
Well, in the first place, it's still something that's going to be solved overnight. But the fish rots from the head. You have to start there. We have to get the right leadership in place, the right guidance in place, and then we have to have an investment in our police officers. You can train 8,000 or 10,000 new detectives. It's going to take a while for them to be well versed in investigation practices in order to investigate one of these dockets or these dockets effectively. A second thing is, once you are a newly trained detective, one of the key things that actually make you a good detective and make you effective in what you do is effective mentorship. So for every new detective that is being trained, you need good mentorship, you need guidance to guide them through that, and then to take them through these dockets. Because at the end of the day, you must remember, once they receive this docket, they have to investigate it, they have to complete that case file, there's various stages that it goes through, and then once it is handed up to court, this detective has to go and stand in court as well, and he has to present his case with the prosecutor. And all of that takes time, it takes skills, but it also, you have to start to gather experience in order to be able to do that. So we have deteriorated to such an extent now that you still got your pockets of excellence within the police, and we are very grateful for that. But we have to start to to invest in those pockets of excellence. We have to see how we can develop a strategy, how that skills can be transferred to your new detectives, and how mentorship can also be done to these new detectives that have to investigate these cases.
Willem, with that said, it then begs the question as to what factors have actually contributed to this declining ability of the police to solve crimes, and how can SAPS then reverse this trend to really improve crime detection, but also the prosecution rates?
Yeah, in the first place, if you look at the state capture, one of the first things that you would target is those people that will be able to investigate you and take you and your cronies to court in order to bring you to book. So the first thing that you want to deteriorate, the first thing that you want to weaken is that investigative ability of the police in order to bring felons to book. So there was a concerted effort in doing so. We saw that Commissioner Selebe, when he was the National Commissioner of Police, he abolished all our specialized units. We had the murder and robbery unit. We had all the other very specialized units. They were doing very well. They abolished them, and ever since things have been going south. So what we would need to do within South Africa, we would need a new strategy. They would have to go and sit down, and the management will have to come up with a very, very out-of-the-box thinking strategy to see how we are going to bring back that expertise. One of the things that they are doing now already, they are bringing some of the retired detectives, they are bringing them in as on contract work in order to investigate some cases, but we should also use those retired detectives to mentor the younger police officers that they bring in as detectives. So we will have to have that strategy. Secondly, they will have to allocate money. They will have to allocate resources towards the solving of this crime. You can't have 4, 5, 6 detectives working with one vehicle. They need resources in order to effectively investigate these cases.
With detection rates for murder and aggravated robbery at 12% and 14% respectively, what strategies can enhance investigative capabilities, but also increase detection rates effectively?
Yeah, as I mentioned, when you used to have the old murder and robbery units, our detection rates were way above 60%. So that is one of the things that can be done. Like I said, you have to investigate. You have to invest in your units. You have to invest not only resources, but also you have to invest in capacity building, in training these people, and in the mentorship of these people. So if we can move back towards restoring those specialized units, especially for your serious and violent crimes like your murder and robbery and your crash and transit heist. Well, I know we already have some of the task teams in some of these fields where we see the task fields are actually the task teams are actually the police units that are really making progress in the arrest and investigating these cases. So we should look at what is working at the moment, and we should build on that.
Willem, let me thank you for your time. That's Willem Els. He's a crime expert at the Institute for Security Studies.